Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today, I'm going to go my review of AEW's Dynamite. Starting off the night, we got an AEW Tag Team Championship matchup. It is Brody King and Bandito defending the AEW Tag Team titles against the Gates of Agony. The match itself, I thought, was a decent match at best. Back and forth matchup between both teams with the Gates of Agony keeping the pace of the match. Ricochet then tries to hit Bandito with a chair shot. Referee Aubrey Edwards ends up catching Ricochet. She ends up throwing Ricochet out of the match. Bandito then capitalizes on this by hitting a 21-plex in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match, and still, AEW Tag Team Champions are Bandito and Brody King. Hats off to Bandito and Brody King for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have the AEW title open challenge match, if you will. It's Adam Page against Lee Moriarty. I thought it was an okay match at best. Back and forth matchup between Page and Moriarty, with Page keeping the pace of the match. Page then hits a springboard forearm, Lee hits a springboard forearm, taking out Adam Page. Page then gets up, hits a fallaway slam on Moriarty in the middle of the ring, followed by Page hitting a devastating Death Valley driver on Lee Moriarty for a near fall. Page then hits a Deadeye on Moriarty in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match, and still AEW World Champion, is Adam Page. Hats off to Adam Page for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have FTR. Tony Schiavone has an interview with FTR in the middle of the ring. FTR come out to the ring with Stokely Hathaway. They grab microphones. Wheeler says that their actions in Toronto were uncalled for. Wheeler also says that he blames Adam Copeland. Stokely then says that he forgives Beth for what she did to him at All Out. Stokely also says that he allowed Beth to hit a spear on him at All Out. Dax says that he will not apologize to Copeland or Cage. Dax says that he would never purposely attack Beth Copeland. Dax says that what they did to Beth was an accident. After that, they're both interrupted by none other than Willow Nightingale. Nightingale comes out down to the ring. She grabs a microphone. She mocks FTR. Willow then says that she is here in wrestling to talk about, she praises Beth to help her get in the wrestling business, but she was there at that last night to talk about Beth. Willow then praises Beth, says that without Beth, she would not be in the wrestling business. Willow says that women like Beth don't take shit from guys like you. After that, Stokely then mocks Willow Nightingale, but Willow then slaps the piss out of Stokely Hathaway. Jet Speed are here. Jet Speed end up attacking FTR, and Jet Speed and Willow celebrate in the ring. Moving on from that, we have a 6-man tag team matchup. It was Okada, Hechicero, and Takeshita, the Don Callis family, taking on Mark Briscoe and Hologram and a mystery partner. And that mystery partner is none other than the returning Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy joins Briscoe and Hologram with the pretty much conglomeration. The match itself, it was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between both teams with Briscoe, Hologram, and Orange Cassidy keeping the pace of the match. Orange Cassidy then hits a Hurricanrana in the middle of the ring, followed by Hologram hitting a Destroyer on Takeshita in the middle of the ring. Orange Cassidy then hits an Orange Punch on Hechicero, followed by Hologram hitting a Portal Bomb in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3. And your winners of the match are Orange Cassidy, Hologram, and Mark Briscoe. After the match, Kyle Fletcher is here. Kyle Fletcher talks about All Out. He also mentions that he deserves to be in the main event scene after his match against Page at All Out. Fletcher says that he will be at one point of time AEW World Champion. Fletcher then talks about Hologram and his undefeated record, and then Fletcher announces that it will be himself against Hologram at AEW's anniversary show, where it will be TNT title versus undefeated record. So it looks like Fletcher's next match will be against Hologram for the TNT title. Interesting stuff there between Fletcher and Hologram. Moving on from that, we have Powerhouse Hobbs taking on Claudio Castagnoli. I thought it was an okay match at best. Back and forth matchup between Powerhouse Hobbs and Castagnoli, with Hobbs and Claudio Castagnoli both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Claudio was trying to keep the pace of the match, but Hobbs hits a power slam on Claudio. Pac is here. This causes a distraction on Hobbs. Claudio hits a roll-up on Powerhouse Hobbs, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match is Claudio Castagnoli. After the match, Samoa Joe was here. Death Riders are here. They attack Powerhouse Hobbs and Samoa Joe. Adam Page comes out to the ring to save both Hobbs and Samoa Joe, and Page ends up attacking the Death Riders. Some interesting stuff there between Adam Page and the Death Riders. Moving on from that, we have the highly anticipated Tony Khan special important announcement. And that announcement is as follows. Tony Khan announces or introduces the new AEW Women's Tag Team titles. Now, this has been rumored and speculated now for about 6 months, and we finally get the announcement last night. And the Women's Tag Team titles, for me, they look exactly, if not the same, as the men's AEW Tag Team titles. There's really no big difference between both tag team titles, but the big announcement was that Tony Khan announced that there will be, in fact, women's AEW Tag Team titles. I'll tell you guys how I feel about that in a bit. Moving on from that, we go into our main event of AEW's Dynamite. It is Chris Statlander defending the AEW's Women's Championship against Mina Shirakawa. The match itself, I thought was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between Shirakawa and Statlander, with Statlander keeping the pace of the match. Shirakawa applies a figure 4 leg lock on Statlander in the middle of the ring, but the hold is quickly broken. Statlander then hits a roll-up on Mina Shirakawa, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match and still AEW Women's Champion is Chris Statlander. After the match, you can see Statlander standing in the ring with Harley Cameron. Yuta is there as well. He celebrates with Chris Statlander. Death Riders are here as well, along with Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir. Yuta then hugs Chris. Chris then attacks Wheeler Yuta. Chris then gets out of the ring. She walks up the aisle with Cameron. She turns around, flips off the Death Riders, and she walks to the back. And then Darby Allin is here holding a flamethrower, chasing down the Death Riders. Then he gets a microphone and tells Jon Moxley that it would be Darby Allin and Jon Moxley one-on-one once again at Wrestle Dream in an I Quit match at this year's Wrestle Dream. Some interesting stuff there between Darby Allin and Jon Moxley. Couple of things I want to talk about, man, with this show, bro. And maybe in my defense, I probably should have started with this before I even went on about the actual matches. There's a lot to say about last night, bro. First and foremost, did I think the show was great, or if not good? No, I thought the fucking show was horrible. This might have been one of the worst Dynamites I've seen in quite some time, for an abundance of reasons, bro. My thing with AEW, man, is they go from these pay-per-views. All right, and I'm not going to sit here and shit on All Out and say it was the worst AEW pay-per-view of all time. Was it the greatest? No. But was it the worst? Absolutely not. It was a decent card at best. We got some surprises. We got some returns. It was an okay card at best. And then we get to Dynamite, bro, with all the anticipation from the reunion of Jurassic Express, Eddie Kingston, what Eddie Kingston's doing with Hook, all this other shit. What's Copeland doing? We got none of that shit last night on Dynamite. We got a video Titantron played of Copeland talking to Christian Cage, saying that he needs to take some time off. Okay, you just took some time off. So now he's got to take some time off, so that leaves Christian Cage all alone. He didn't show up. This didn't happen on Dynamite last night. This was played via video package that was played during the show last night. So there's no Copeland showing up. There was no Cage showing up. There was no Jungle Boy or Luchasaurus showing up last night. There was no Eddie Kingston. We heard nothing from these goddamn people, bro. We heard nothing from Toni Storm. Nothing. We heard nothing from Mercedes Moné, which, again, not seeing Moné is not a terrible thing. But, again, we did not hear from Moné. We did not hear from Toni Storm. We heard nothing from these people. Eddie Kingston's been out for, 15 months, bro? You couldn't have him on Dynamite last night? Cut a promo on the microphone? This guy's been gone for over a year, bro. You could have at least had him come out to Dynamite and been on the microphone and talked about all the trials and tribulations that he had to go through when he was gone for 15 months, dealing with all his serious injuries and almost sidelined him for the rest of his career. We couldn't even get that. That pissed me off, number one. Number two, bro, I don't know who in the hell is booking these fucking cards for Dynamite or who else is on the writing team, but holy shit, bro, I felt like they put this show together an hour before Dynamite went on the air. This show fucking sucked. I'm sorry. If you're one of those people out there that actually legitimately enjoyed Dynamite last night, bro, stop watching wrestling. You're the reason why that AEW and the powers that be think what they're doing is right and correct. No, bro, this shit is fucking awful. It's fucking awful. Adam Page is in an open challenge match for the AEW World title against fucking Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty. A guy who's been freaking Ring of Honor this whole fucking time. Ring of Honor Pure Champion or whatever the fuck it is. Television Champion, whatever. Ring of Honor's a dead fucking brand, man. It's behind the fucking paywall. No one gives a flying shit about Ring of Honor. The best thing you got on the entire Ring of Honor brand right now is Athena, and you had her pretty much get her ass beat by Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm. Athena is the best thing that's on that goddamn brand right now. Lee Moriarty, and the reason why they booked this goddamn match between Moriarty and Page is because Moriarty is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and AEW last night was live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Huge L. Here's another huge L for a lot of people. Where the fuck was Britt Baker? Being to the fact that Pittsburgh is technically Britsburg, where the fuck is Britt Baker? I'm going to tell you guys right now, bro, this might be a hot take for a lot of Britt Baker fans out there. Baker's fucking done with AEW. She's done. She's in AEW purgatory right now, bro. Her and Camille. The fact that AEW was in Pittsburgh last night, we haven't seen Britt Baker in quite some time. The fact that AEW was in Pittsburgh last night, they could have had her return last night in AEW. And hell, even said, you know what, I'm going to go after the AEW tag team titles. I'm going to find me a tag team partner. And we're going to go after these AEW women's tag team titles. Or just make a fucking appearance, bro. Nothing. No video package, no vignette, no promo in the ring. Nothing from Britt Baker. Baker's as good as gone, bro. I can see her going to WWE here relatively soon when her contract's up. That's the problem with Tony Khan, bro. He puts these people on the fucking shelf, and it's hurting the business, man. It's hurting AEW. It's the self-loathing that he does and the piss-whining that he does. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put you on the sideline. Because this is the thing, bro. He treats this shit like it's the NFL at times. Like, he treats this shit like it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, but by the way, one of the most shittiest NFL teams of all time. And you could take that shit to the bank. I've been watching football for a long time, bro. The Jacksonville Jaguars haven't really even been in the conversation as far as playoffs. Hell, as far as I'm concerned, they haven't been really relevant since the days of Mark Brunell. You could say, oh, they got Trevor Lawrence, bro. What the fuck have they done with Trevor Lawrence since he's been a quarterback with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Honestly. Where's the playoff wins, bro? Honestly. There's no team. There ain't never been a team. Like I said, bro, to me, honestly, as far as the Jacksonville Jaguars are concerned, they haven't been relevant to me, honestly, since the days of Mark Brunell and Maurice Jones-Drew, if you want to take it that far back. I mean, come on, bro. You can't run this shit like it's the NFL. Last night, you dropped the bomb big time, not putting Britt Baker on fucking television last night. The fact that they were in Pittsburgh last night, we have not seen Britt in a while now. You could have put Britt Baker on fucking television last night. No, she's in Guantanamo Bay. In AEW purgatory, just like the rest of them. Just like Ricky Starks was, Ray Phoenix, Camille's over there. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous, man. Why sign these people if you're not going to use them? Honestly. Well, we're going to add, dates to, time on her contract. Why, bro? You're not going to fucking use her anyway. Just let her go. You're afraid to let her go because she might go over to WWE or be on NXT or the main roster and be a bigger star than what she was in AEW. Which, not for nothing, has happened with certain talents. You look at someone like Cody Rhodes, who went from AEW over to WWE and is a bigger star now in WWE than what he ever was in AEW. That's your fear. A lot of people thought the same thing with, and it happens and it doesn't happen. You look at someone like Blake Monroe. I feel like she was more over in AEW than right now than she's over in NXT. When she was Mariah May. But, again, that could change. Jay Cargill, that's a whole different story. CM Punk, way better now in WWE than what he was in AEW. Absolutely. He's in some of the most predominant storylines in all of WWE right now. He's immensely over with the fans. Always has been, always will be. I'm not going to sit here and take away AEW on the fact that they didn't bring him back to wrestling and now he's back in WWE. No, I'm going to give AEW credit on that. But WWE is utilizing him correctly compared to what AEW was doing. Absolutely. And I will fight to the moon on that shit. Last night's show was fucking awful. The fact that we have AEW's world champion in a mid-card match, or an opening match, if you will, against Lee Moriarty, for the AEW World Championship. We can't get this guy a suitable contender for the AEW World title. We don't even know what the fuck Paige is going to do leading up to Wrestle Dream in the next, 2-3 weeks. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? And a lot of people said, oh, maybe it's going to be Jon Moxley because he came out and helped the Ops with the Death Riders last night. Nope. It's going to be, once again, Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley. And not for nothing, bro. I'm done with this Darby Allin and Jon Moxley shit, bro. You dropped the ball on that shit. And I've stated that from the fucking jump. I've been talking about that shit now for the past 2 to 3 fucking months now. Darby Allin should have been the fucking guy against Jon Moxley to go up against him at the Wrestle Dream last year for the AEW World title when all this Death Rider shit popped off. No, instead we got Bryan Danielson. It should have been Darby. Darby should have been the guy. We get Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. Why couldn't we have Bryan Danielson versus Darby Allin for the AEW World title? Now we're running this shit back as if, Darby Allin's going after Jon Moxley for the AEW World title when it's on Adam Page right now. We've already just had a fucking match between Darby Allin and Jon Moxley, where Darby Allin damn near ripped Jon Moxley's fucking ear off. Now we're going to, in a coffin match, at All Out. Now we're going to do an I Quit match at Wrestle Dream. How long is this shit going to go, bro? How long is this going to go? Because right now it's already getting fucking stale. Like, I get it, bro. You climb Mount Everest. They keep talking about that shit. Like, I get it, man. I get it. And you want to try and somehow incorporate it into a storyline. We already knew that you were insane before you even climbed Mount Everest, as far as what you can do in the ring. What is the fucking story here between Darby and Jon? Well, Darby's going back after Jon Moxley because Moxley threw him down a fucking flight of stairs so he can go climb Mount Everest for, 4 months, 5 months? Like, what the fuck are we doing here, man? You're behind the 8 ball here with this shit. We're going to do an I Quit match at Wrestle Dream. So let me ask you this question then. What's going to happen when we get to Wrestle Dream and there's an I Quit match? And then Darby's going to lose and Darby's going to take, another 4 or 5 months off until we figure out how to incorporate him back into AEW? I'm praying to God that when this match does happen, that Darby Allin does get the win over Jon Moxley and we're done seeing the fucking Death Riders for a little while. We should have stopped seeing the fucking Death Riders after fucking Page won the goddamn title with All In. But here we are, the following Dynamite, and we're seeing the Death Riders and Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley should have took at least 4 or 5 months off and rode off into the fucking sunset for half a year. Come back, new, regenerated, all this other shit. A new Jon Moxley. No, we're getting the same fucking bullshit that we've gotten since this Death Rider shit began. And now, it's going to even intensify even more now because now we have the likes of Daniel Garcia added to the Death Riders. Now we got the return of Pac after he was out with injury, back with the Death Riders now. They're as strong as ever. Hell, they're still trying to recruit Chris Statlander until what happened last night when she told them to go fuck themselves. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous, man. And you're trying to make the Death Riders into the NWO 2.0. It ain't gonna fucking work. It's not going to fucking work. It's not gonna work. And not for nothing, look, man, I'm a huge fan of Stat. But was I all for her winning that AEW Women's Championship at All Out? Hell no. No. Absolutely not. I'm going to tell you right now, bro, the reason why Toni Storm dropped that fucking belt is for 2 reasons. One, there's nobody else for Toni Storm. What was going to be next for Toni Storm after that matchup at that Fatal 4-Way at All Out? Honestly, answer me that question. And 2, the other reason why it was Toni Storm dropping that belt is because Mercedes Moné ain't dropping her fucking title. No, sirree, Bob, bro. She is going to beat Jade Cargill's record, which is coming up here soon. And she's trying to get a 10th title to be the next Ultimo fucking Dragon. The fact of the matter is that both these women, Toni Storm, and I love Toni Storm. I think Toni Storm is the best thing that's ever happened with AEW. I'm a huge fan of Toni Storm. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, like I've always have been. Unfortunately, when it pertains to the women's division, it's been stomped on and walked out from both Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm, bro. That's why there's no other suitable contenders for both these women for their respective titles at the time. That's the truth, bro. They're not bringing in other talent. There's no Dakota Kai. You know what I mean? Dakota Kai was rumored to come over to AEW. That shit so far has not happened. We don't know if Beth Copeland is actually going to be a part of AEW or not. As far as I know right now, she's not a part of AEW. Or she hasn't signed a contract with them. I think it was maybe possibly a one-off. Hopefully it wasn't, but obviously from what I understand, she's not signed with the company exclusively. So again, man, there's really nobody else left for the women's roster. And that takes me right to the announcement from Tony Khan last night. We get the announcement that we already kind of speculated on what it was going to be, and then the announcement came out to be exactly what we thought it was going to be, which was AEW bringing in more titles by introducing the women's AEW tag team titles. And look, a lot of people are like, oh, this is a good thing for the women, and yada. Bro, how? There's no women tag teams that are solidified on this roster, bro. What, Harley Cameron and Chris Statlander? Statlander shouldn't even be in the fucking conversation right now for going after those AEW tag team titles, because right now, currently, as it stands, right now, she's the AEW Women's Champion. The only thing that's going to benefit at all would be Harley Cameron right now, because Harley Cameron hasn't wore championship gold in AEW since she's been with the company. As far as I'm concerned, she came close, but hasn't wore championship gold, so it's only going to benefit Harley Cameron. Now, you look at someone like, oh, well, they got Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. Bro, no. And to be honest with you, not for nothing, that when they teamed up Ford and Megan Bayne, I think it kind of demoralized Megan Bayne. Honestly, Megan Bayne needs to be a singles competitor. Megan Bayne should have been in the conversation for a TBS title or the AEW Women's Championship. No, you have her teaming up with Penelope Ford, which no one knows why the fuck they're teaming up. And we're going to have them in tag team matches. Megan Bayne should be on the single scene right now and going after, championship gold, whether it's the TBS title or the AEW Women's Championship. Again, that's only benefiting Penelope Ford right now, because there's nothing on the table for Ford that even means a goddamn right now. It's only benefiting Ford. So again, you have to ask yourself, okay, well, they introduced these women's AEW tag team titles, but they don't really have a makeshift women's tag team right now that's actually a suitable contender for the women's AEW tag team titles. No, there's not. Now, could they bring in some people? Sure. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, former women's, tag team champions. You can bring them in and put them in this so-called tournament or whatever, and have them go after the AEW women's tag team titles. Yes, absolutely. Then you bring in someone like Dakota Kai, have her team up with somebody, go after the, hell, you could have brought in Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox. Y'all waited around forever to try to sign Tegan Nox. You never did it. Dakota Kai's a free agent, from what I understand. Bring her in. Have her go after the women's AEW tag team titles. My prediction, honestly, on paper right now is that the way I'm thinking is that Toni Storm is not going to really be focused or fixated on Statlander's AEW Women's Championship, but instead, she's going to be fixated and focused on teaming up with Mina Shirakawa, and Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm are going to go after the women's AEW tag team titles, and they may be, if not the first ever inaugural women's AEW tag team champions. That's the way that I'm thinking outside the box right now. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but would it shock me if they were the first ones to win it? No. Obviously, we know there's a friendship here between Mina and Toni Storm. Mina just lost clean last night to Statlander for the AEW Women's Championship. I can 100% see a possibility of Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa teaming up to go after the Women's Tag Team Championships. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the reason why I know this is because AEW and their creative team have no thought in their mind to do shit that makes sense. They just don't. And honestly, whoever's on that fucking writing team, bro, you need to leave AEW. They need to fire your ass. Honestly. From the shit that you're putting on last night, bro, come on, man. This fucking company, man, is absolutely clueless. And I feel like I'm a broken goddamn record when I watch these shows. But this is what I do. I'm not here to rub shoulders with these people and sit at the fucking dinner table with them. No. I'm going to shoot it to you guys straight. Last night's show was fucking awful. Adam Page having an open challenge for the AEW World title. We don't have a suitable challenger for this guy. We're putting on open challenges for the AEW World title in the beginning of AEW Dynamite last night against Lee Moriarty, a guy that we have not seen on Dynamite in who knows how long, and he's over in Ring of Honor. Why are we not getting a suitable challenger for this guy? This is also what I'm going back to when I was telling you guys the fact that, unfortunately, with this company, when you're not building future stars, and you can say what you want about Kyle Fletcher, right, and I'll get at that in a second, but they're not building younger stars. And unfortunately, with the likes of Swerve Strickland and Ospreay and Adam Cole and all these people being out, it does hurt this company. And not having Ospreay or Swerve or even Kenny Omega right now is going to hurt this company because they can't build future stars. MJF even said last night in a video package that after the match they had with Mark Briscoe, he's going to be taking some time off. Probably going on his honeymoon, if I had to guess. He's going to probably be out for another month, maybe 2 months. You know what I mean? He's going to be off the scene. He wants to come back a stronger and better MJF. Bro, you should have already been AEW World Champion. Not taking anything away from Adam Page, but you are the future of this company. You are the guy. And as of late, they treated you like an afterthought. And what he said last night was true, bro. He's in the shadow of guys like Ospreay and Swerve. Those are the guys that are getting the main event spots and the championship matches. They're getting the spotlight. MJF is settling for Mark Briscoe in a table and tax match. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the truth, bro. At one time, MJF was the guy. The devil incarnate, if you will. He was the guy. People were gravitated towards MJF. MJF was carrying this company on his fucking back at one time. Whether you liked him or you didn't. As of late, he's been everybody's punching bag as of late. So yeah, I hope when he comes back with a fucking vengeance, and he comes back to roll ass in AEW. Because they need it. I want him to come back as MJF as a heel and a prick. And the devil that we know. That's the MJF that I want. I want that pissed off MJF that is going to run roughshod on this roster and go back after the Triple B and be successful in retaining or regaining that AEW World title back. Yeah. That's the MJF I want. I don't want this bullshit MJF that we've gotten now for the past few months. No, I want him to come back pissed off with a vengeance, pissed off with the world, and goes after the AEW World title. That's what I want. And that's what AEW needs, bro. Honestly. Kyle Fletcher. Here's the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. I'm not going to let this slip either. We get that 6-man tag team matchup with the Don Callis family taking on the conglomeration, if you will. We get this matchup. The conglomeration were successful in this match. Go figure. We get the return of Orange Cassidy after he was out with injury for quite some time. He's back now. After the match was over, then we see the likes of Kyle Fletcher standing on the stage wearing the TNT title, has a microphone in hand, and seemingly he calls out none other than Hologram. And then he says at the anniversary show he's going to defend his TNT title against Hologram, where it will be title versus record at AEW's anniversary show. Wow. Like, what? And the thing of it is, this guy wants to sit here and say that he was a main eventer. I'm not sitting here taking anything away from his athletic ability and what Fletcher can do in the ring. He's a great wrestler. He goes 0 to 200 miles an hour within 30 seconds. He put on a great match with Page. Did it need to go 40 minutes? No, it did not need to go 40 fucking minutes. It didn't. Is he a good wrestler? Yeah. Fletcher could be the future of this goddamn company if you utilize him correctly. I can give a rat's ass about this match with him and Hologram, bro. If I'm going to keep it a buck with you, I give a rat's ass about this match. It means fucking nothing. Nothing. You're going to put Kyle Fletcher back on Collision, and we're going to run this shit back on Collision for Kyle Fletcher. Why is it that Tony Khan has a tendency not to want to push the younger stars, but then he wants to focus and fixate on former WWE talent that are almost damn near in their 50s and put them over? Bro, you ain't going to have a fucking future in AEW, or there's not going to be a future for AEW because you're not building younger stars. You're just not. You look at the likes of Kevin Knight. You look at the likes of, Speedball Mike Bailey. You look at the likes of Kyle Fletcher. Hook. You know what I mean? You're not building these guys up. You're not. Jack Perry. And now, again, I'm happy that Jack Perry is aligning himself back up with Jurassic Express. And not for nothing, you got a diamond in the rough right there with Jack Perry and Luchasaurus going after the AEW Tag Team titles. You do. And anybody that says, oh, that's bullshit, bro, who else is there left, man? Honestly. I said this shit about 2 months ago. You reunite Jurassic Express, you reunite Anthony Bowens and Max Caster with the Acclaim, because clearly, as you can tell, Bowens and Caster weren't doing a goddamn thing. Caster was putting out these open challenges on Collision and Dynamite and getting his ass beat every single time. Bowens was trying to have a singles run, and yeah, he had some matches that were here and there, but it wasn't nothing compared to what he was doing when he was working with Max Caster and the Acclaimed. And now it's rumored and speculated that those guys are going to be working back together again, and we might get a reunion of the Acclaimed. Great. Why? Because at one time, the AEW Tag Team Division was the best thing they had. They had probably the best tag team division in the fucking world. Now, it's a fucking joke. So to bring the likes back of Jack Perry and Luchasaurus and Anthony Bowens and Max Caster with the Acclaimed, I don't know if the Grizzled Young Veterans are still employed with AEW. You bring them in, Maybe the Dark Order, you bring them in. You know what I mean? You get Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn. Once Colton's okay, he comes back. You get the Guns involved in the AEW tag team division scene. Why the hell not? You got Eddie Kingston, teasing the team up with Hook. You put those guys in a tag team together. They go after the AEW tag team titles. You got Brian Keith and Big Bill. Let them go after the AEW tag team titles. Build the fucking tag team division, bro. It's not hard to do, folks. It's not. So, like I said, when it comes to Wrestle Dream in October in about, 2-3 weeks? Yeah, I'm worried about the goddamn card. I am. Because right now, as it sits, we only got one match that is announced with Jon Moxley and Darby Allin in an I Quit match. What's going to be next for Adam Page? Is this something where MJF's going to pull the bullshit rug over everybody's head and next thing you know, he's going to cash in his contract and we're going to get a rematch between MJF and Adam Page? I'm all for it. But we also know that he has to give them a week's notice, being Tony Khan and Adam Page, for him to sign his contract. So I don't know if he's going to do that or he's actually going to take a month or two off. So where does this leave Adam Page? I'd be shocked if they're going to run it back with Kyle Fletcher. To be honest with you, Ospreay's out, Swerve's out. There's no other suitable challenger or competitor right now to go up against Adam Page if it's not MJF. And that's the problem. I don't want to see a rematch between Kyle Fletcher because not for nothing, Fletcher's not ready. He's a good wrestler. He's a really good wrestler. He's just not ready. He's not ready. So then you had to ask yourself, okay, well, who's going to be the next suitable challenger to Adam Page for his AEW World title? I don't know. You could say Jon Moxley, but he's already got a match at Wrestle Dream against Darby Allin in an I Quit match. So who's going to be the next guy that's going to step up and challenge Adam Page? Or are we just not going to have Adam Page defend the AEW World title on Wrestle Dream? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of different ways of thinking about this. Some good, some bad. And AEW has a tendency to not think about long-term booking leading up into these pay-per-views and building storylines. It's last-minute bullshit, and this is what you guys get. I'm telling you, man, once this guy got money for his TV rights deal, bro, Tony Khan took his foot off the gas pedal, and he's pumping the fucking brakes, man. This guy don't give a shit. And it's sad, bro. It honestly is sad. There's some people that I talk to that are hoping that, with these rumors, conversations coming up about Warner Brothers Discovery getting bought out by Paramount Plus or Netflix or what have you, that AEW might be in deep shit, bro. I wouldn't be surprised, man. I wouldn't be shocked. I feel bad for the talent if AEW went out of business. Absolutely. Absolutely, because it's not their fault. This guy's running the show, and he's running his company into the fucking ground. Like I said, he's trying to run it like it's an NFL team, like it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Doesn't work, man. You got wrestling 52 weeks out of the year, every single week. Build storylines. Book for the long term, bro. I don't give a shit if the storyline takes 6 fucking months. Give us something. We're not getting shit, man. We're getting these Dynamite and Collision episodes that being written the day before the show even takes place. We're doing production meetings in the back. For what? For what? Clearly you guys don't give a shit about the show. Because if you did, you'll put a better show on for the fans. You don't. You know what I mean? And the other thing, too, is that we get the Gates of Agony last night, and they, they leave all out, looking strong, looking dominant, and then we get to last night and they lose. So where does that lead to Gates of Agony? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are we going with this shit, man? Where's the long-term goal with all this? That's my biggest takeaway from this. And I know some people are out there, we're super excited for the women's AEW tag team titles. Why, bro? I mean, honestly, how many tag teams can you count on one hand right now for the women in AEW that are legitimate tag teams? You got, Stat, Harley Cameron, Megan Bay, Penelope Ford. You got maybe Tekla and Sky Blue and Julia Hart. That's 3. Who else, bro? That's actually logical that we've seen in tag teams. I got 3 right now. Tekla, Sky Blue, Harley Cameron, Chris Statlander, and I forgot the other one. And now you could say Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm. If they decide to team them up, they teamed up in the past. But there hasn't been something where we've seen a consistency of women's tag teams on and off on Dynamite throughout the entire duration of its existence in AEW. That has not happened. So again, you had to ask the question, how are they going to put together a tournament together to crown the first ever inaugural women's tag team champion for AEW? He couldn't even tell us when the tournament or matches were going to take place for this. He just introduced the women's AEW tag team titles. Because right now, bro, there is nobody. It's just, I don't know, man. I just think it's getting to a point now where they're clueless. They're clueless. And they think that whatever the hell they're doing, legitimately, they think it's working. It's not. You guys are getting lazy, man. And I'm sick and tired of this narrative. Oh, because Cody Rhodes left and CM, bro, they've been gone. Like, there's no reason why the shows had to suffer because Tony Khan's sitting in the corner crying because he lost Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. Book a better show, bro. Do your job. And whatever the hell you're drinking in those cups of yours with these post-media scrums, someone's got to take that shit away from you, man. Get some fucking rest. Something. Maybe if you get some rest, you'll write a better fucking show. I mean, because last night, bro, was so fucking bad. I can't remember, like, it's, man. Honestly. It was fucking terrible. Lackluster and meant nothing. We introduced women's tag team titles and we have no women's tag team division. They don't even tell you when the matches for the tournament are going to take fucking place. We're just introducing these women's tag team titles. When, again, you could have made the titles a little bit fucking different compared to what the men's have for the men's tag team titles. There's no, color change for the titles. There's no, you could have changed the color of the actual leather belt itself to like white or, I don't know, purple or whatever, bro. You keep it exactly the same as the men's tag team titles. We couldn't get a little bit of different shit here between the women and the men. Nothing. The only thing that's different between both those titles, in my honest opinion, is that the fact that it says men's AEW tag team titles and the other one says women's AEW tag team titles. That's it. They look very, very similar. You know what I mean? And you've been talking about doing this now for what, 6 months? Come on, bro. Come on. I mean, it's I don't know, man. It's fucking crazy. It honestly is. I've never seen a company so clueless in my life. And I've seen some wrestling shit, bro. I've seen the good and bad at WCW, the good and bad at WWE. AEW just does not give a rat's ass how you feel. They just don't, bro. They're going to give you exactly what they want. And if you don't like it, go somewhere else. And because of that, the ratings are in the toilet. Pay-per-view buys are down. They're not selling out arenas. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, man. It's crazy. It's honestly fucking insane to think that they're so naive that they're also self-sabotaging their own company from the inside out. Like I said, bro, you were in Pittsburgh last night. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So instead of bringing in the likes of someone who's known in the Pittsburgh area, like a Britt Baker, who's immensely over in that area. She's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tony Khan said, you know what? We're going to keep her ass at home. We're going to bring in Lee Moriarty. He's from the Pittsburgh area. That'll make sense. To what, bro? He came out to fucking crickets in a match against Adam Page that he honestly did not deserve to have. Could you imagine the pop that you would have got if you brought back the lights of Britt Baker live on Dynamite last night in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? Imagine the reception that AEW last night would have gotten from the fans, and imagine the reception and the pop that Britt Baker would have had walking out to the ring in front of her hometown crowd in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania last night. You want to generate interest and generate enthusiasm about your show and get people invested. Doing shit like that gets people invested and locking their eyeballs on your product. It's not hard to do. You're doing it because you are a pissed off guy that's pissed off and you want to put people in AEW purgatory because you just feel like it, because your feelings got hurt. For nothing. Look what you did to Ray Phoenix, bro. Look what you did to guys like Ricky Starks. Wardlow. I mean, Camille's probably also in AEW purgatory at this point. I mean, it's fucking insane, man. It is. And the funny thing is you'll have some people that will show up in AEW like a Willie Mack or, I mean, God, AR Fox or who the hell knows, Lee Johnson or Blake Christian or, somebody like that are like, oh, well, damn, I didn't even know he was still employed with the company. I remember they were talking about Willie Mack and I know somebody told me like, oh, bro, I didn't even know he was still with the company. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's signed with the company. They just don't fucking use him. That's the problem. That's the problem. The roster is severely bloated, man. They don't know how to use people and use them correctly. It's like for Tony Khan, man, it's like Baskin & Robbins, man. He has his like 32 flavors, and that's it. Everybody else, you're fucked. You're screwed. You're not being utilized. You're sitting back in catering. You ain't doing shit. You're not getting no TV time. He has his select few favorites that he wants to put on no matter what, and that's it. And that's the truth. And trust me when I tell you, Tony Khan definitely has his select favorites. Absolutely. But like I said, bro, at the end of the day, this show is hurting. The fact that we don't have the likes of Will Ospreay, Swerve, Omega right now, Adam Cole is out, and people are like, well, that shouldn't matter. No, bro, it does. It does. Because unfortunately with this company, they don't build up younger stars to take place or take precedent over those veteran talents. To put AEW in a different spotlight and different echelon than what they have been in for the past 2 years. And trying to build a future for this company so this company could last another 5 to 10 years. This is something that AEW and the powers that be need to look into and invest in. Guys like Kyle Fletcher, guys like Hook, people like Sammy Guevara, MJF. And you build this company around these guys because these guys were the original pillars of this company. They're still young in the game, and they can take this company into the future and beyond for the next 5-10 years if you utilize them correctly. Instead, we're getting old WWE talent that are more over now than the day one guys. You look at someone like Bobby Lashley. Lashley's more over right now than MJF. And this is a guy that's pushing, if not 50 or not pushing his 50s, and is a former WWE guy. The Herd Syndicate is one of the biggest things right now in all of AEW. They're immensely over. They're over MJF. They're over Orange Cassidy. They are the biggest thing going right now in all of AEW, which is saying a lot. Being the fact that Lashley's almost 50, if not 50, he's a former WWE talent. You're fixating the focus more on this former WWE talent than you are talent that you first brought into AEW that were day one people, men and women that joined this company. I look at it, bro. Look at the narrative. Look at the guys like, Britt Baker. Day one. And you're treating her like shit. But then again, you'll treat Mercedes Moné like she is a god. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. Moné is pretty much keeping that women's roster hostage, bro. She's not losing that TBS title. She's going to beat Jade Cargill's record, and the rest is going to be history. Because Tony Khan does not want Jade or a current WWE talent attached to anything AEW is doing. That's why Moné hasn't dropped the TBS title, folks. He wants her to beat her record. And when the time comes, it's going to be a huge-ass announcement. And, oh, my God, she beat Jade Cargill's TBS title run and all this other shit. No one's going to give a fuck, bro. Nobody cares now. Nobody cares. The only person that cares is Tony Khan. Because he doesn't want Jade's name attached to AEW. So the best way that he can do that is have Moné hold on to the TBS title and break Jade Cargill's record so he mentally can move on from it. Because mentally he hasn't checked that out yet. He still can't get over Cody Rhodes and CM Punk leaving the company. You think he's going to get over Jade Cargill? No. Absolutely not. And that's ultimately, again, also hurting this company, bro. The pettiness, the greed, the bullshit. It's just, it's ridiculous, man. It really is. It really is. Because at the end of the day, this is a company that, with the talent they have, the fact that they're on cable television every Wednesday, every Saturday, they have pay-per-views pretty much across the world almost, and we're getting this lackluster television that we're getting week in and week out. Attendance is down, ticket sales are down, pay-per-view buys are down, and they're naive enough to think whatever they're doing is working. Clearly, it's not. It's not. And you can't tell me that a person's not naive if they think what they're doing is working, when in all reality, it's not. And people are like, well, based off who? Look at the metrics, bro. Proof's in the pudding, man. You go from selling out, Allstate Arena to barely selling out a bingo hall in South Philly. Saying a lot. It's saying a lot. You know what I mean? This company was at the top of their game in the first 3 years of its existence. Now, no. It's a shell of its former self, bro. It's at times it's hard to watch. Because you can tell at times where they just don't give a shit, man. They just don't. That entire company doesn't give a rat's ass. And I feel like a lot of them don't give a rat's ass as far as what happens to AEW. If they have to close up shop and close doors, well, it is what it is. And that's sad. It's a shitty way of thinking. It's unfortunate. But the way that these talents are acting as of late, you can just tell, bro, it's like they don't want to fucking be there. They just don't. They look miserable. There's no storylines. There's nothing compelling really coming out of Dynamite or Collision that's really wanting the fans to really sink their teeth into and get invested in. We're not getting none of that shit. So like I said, when they introduced this women's tag team titles, bro, I don't know how this is going to play out. It's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to play out for the foreseeable future. But I thought last night's Dynamite was awful. It could have been a hell of a lot better. And I think at this point, man, AEW is just, at this very moment, is just clueless. And they don't know what the hell they're doing. But with that being said, this is my review of AEW's Dynamite. I hope you guys